Welcome to the Acquisition Collective podcast. I am your host, Charlie Tanner. Thank you for tuning in. This is the place where we discuss all things around the M&A landscape. So if that sounds like it's up your street, then stay tuned and let's dive into this week's guest. Hello, Charlie. Thank you very much for coming today. It's a pleasure.
Always good to see you.
Episode number 2 of the intro series that we're releasing in March. So we are currently in February, and you, Mr. Norton, are on your way to get an award this evening, aren't you? So if you would like to tell the audience what that would be a good starting point to show your expertise.
I've been awarded Business Broker of the Year in the UK by the 5D Group. I might have been the only one nominated. Who knows?
Well, we both know he does have a panel of brokers.
He does have
anyway,
a lot of brokers, a lot of skilled brokers as well, my dad, and somehow I've got best in the country.
It's good though. It's good.
It's good nod for the last 2 years of Vamos, and
it's good for the future generation as well. Don't get me wrong. I don't even know if there's an award ceremony for brokers out there.
There is actually by Inside Media. They do the deal makers of the year awards, and that's with corporate finance firms. They do like a Southeast, East of England.
Okay, so it's a thing, yeah.
And then the winners go to the nationals. And I got invited to do that.
Is it one of them where you got to pay for yourself to win it, or is it?
I don't know. I haven't gone through the entire process to know. It's a legitimate, awards place, but whether you got to pay for a table in order to, I don't know.
I got you.
A guy from Richard Larkin, which is a big accountancy practice in my area, a guy called Mark, and I forget Mark's second name, so I apologise, but he won Southeast Deal Maker of the Year.
Okay, cool.
Recently, and it's a proper awards thing, like my Business Broker of the Year award is. How's that? And it's good to be recognised, really, especially in this industry. It's full of cowboys and people over value just to get your work, unsolicited promoters.
Yeah, always the way.
And I'm not going to name names, but we all know who they are in the industry.
Yeah. Right. So for everyone listening and for anybody who wants to watch, we have Charlie Norton on the show. He is a new gen business broker. I like to class you as. If you could start off what you do today and how you do it, and just summarise that, and then we peel off the back of that and move backwards.
Yeah, so my name is Charlie Norton. I am the CEO of Vamos Business Transfer, aka Vamos. We are a modern new age business brokerage serving the low mid-market space, so businesses between 1 million to 50 million pounds across the UK and Europe. And we, unlike many traditional brokers, we give realistic valuations. We get the heads on their intent signed within 90 days. And, we actually sell businesses.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm proud to say we sold in the last 18 months about £60 million worth of businesses. And then already it's looking like we'll sell well over 100 million in 2026. So
nice.
Looking forward to it.
Good. It's good. Like you said, me and you know of each other from the networking events that I hosted, and we've become close since. So we know of each other's background, which is good. And the journey that you've been on, personally, that I know of, even before I met you, was good. And you've just come on leaps and bounds since that. So that's brilliant to see. And I, too, am more of an independent broker, as much as it pains me to say it now. And because the running joke that people won't know is I never used to refer myself as a broker because
there's a dirty word.
Yeah, it was a dirty word. So I used to always hide behind the word consultant. But the back end of last year, I sort of had to start using the term broker and advisor. So it's more advisor that I use, but the word broker I'm not afraid to use now, which is
you are a business broker.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, I help buy side and sell side mandates.
You'll know it's actually funny though. Yeah. I'm technically not a business broker. And I know that.
How do you work that then?
Right, I'm actually a corporate finance advisor.
I suppose, yeah, because
we are a low mid-market.
Yeah.
Business brokers traditionally do like the main street, the cafes, the small businesses, ones I wouldn't touch with a barge pole, so to speak. But I always say business broker because I like to speak in layman terms.
Yeah.
If I start saying, "Oh, I'm an M&A transactions advisor," or
Yeah, it just gets confusing.
a sell side mandates, you know, it just
and that's things like back in the last year when I re-strategized my journey, my business to come out in 26. I've simplified it, hence the term
broker.
Yeah, the term broker. I'm now not shy of. So
it's good, and
it's fine.
Well, I think it's up for people like us to turn that word from a dirty word into a good word.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more independent advisory firms alongside us doing that now. You know, obviously thanks to you as well. There's a good core group of us. I mean, yeah, it's in a private network and it's a WhatsApp group, but for instance, there's like 30 people, if not more in that. Yeah. Now, there was more, but you have...
I vet them.
Yeah, you vetted them and kicked the other ones out. But
by the way, there's going to be about 5 or 6 people who are going to get kicked out soon.
Okay.
Because they haven't had any mandates in the last year. So are you actually a broker?
Well, it's either that or they're not sharing, or they don't want to use the off network first.
So. No, I know they haven't.
Yeah,
and some of my mates, I just know I literally know they have not done that, and they said they was going to at the start of 2025, but they didn't. So they've got off. One started an accountancy practice. One said he was going to, but now he's like focused on just buying businesses.
Right. So he's pivoted. Yeah. So even still, it's a really good thing, and the new generation of advisory guys out there, I think, is going to come in waves. In the next 5 years, it's going to be a big transition. So the traditional model that all the big boys use, which is an overinflated listing fee, but they don't care about the back end percentage transaction payment because they don't transact when their models 85% turnover comes from listing fees. You know, they're not incentivized to actually sell the business. Whereas our models are different. Again, we do charge listing fees and whatnot because we have to have skin in the game and other things like that and marketing costs and whatnot. But we're incentivized to get to heads of terms and to complete for the client. You know, like the one thing I say is I don't like deal fatigue. I just don't like it. It's not good for anyone.
100%.
But I think brokers get a bad name when I believe it's legals and financial due diligence professionals that actually slow the deal down more than brokers.
Oh,
but that's my own opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
So if they are,
that's an overall.
I understand you're saying, but there's a couple of caveats to that because if they are an M&A professional, like let's say Ray Dolman mud up for a lawyer, or they're an accountant who does transactions consistently, in theory they shouldn't slow down the process.
No, agreed, Right. But when you get accountants trying to do due diligence who have never done it, and then they're learning as they go, or they've got an ulterior motive they're annoyed because they're losing their client at the end of it.
I'll tell you a random story. This is actually my cousin Barn, who lives in the hillside of Wales.
Yeah.
He's a forester by...
Barnabas. He's come to an event.
Oh, yeah, of course you know Barn, right? I'm actually his best man's wedding coming soon, so I can't wait for that.
Cool.
I'm going to train into a midget and somewhere Pole in Amsterdam, Dublin. I'm not sure yet. I shouldn't say that because we'll probably watch this, but... with Barnes, so he was about to buy his boss's business. He's worked for 6 years.
Oh, cool.
And the guy is, 65 plus, 70 plus, can't remember how old he is. And it's quite a physical demanding job forestry.
Yeah.
So he's like, my body's wearing, I'm going to retire soon. And he mentioned that to Barnes a few years back. And Barnes said, I'm up for it, because my cousin's buying businesses.
Nice.
For ownership and that. Anyway, fast forward to a couple months ago. He offered Barn a deal and he makes about 100 grand a year profit, this company. And then plus Barn's wages because he works there, it's about 120 grand a year.
Fair enough, yeah.
Cash flow when you consider their two incomes. And then he's offered a deal, 35 grand up front and then 2 grand a month for a year. All right? Very much a good deal, sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
For a 90 grand a year business, EBITDA business. But then the accountant, about 3-4 weeks later.
Here we go. Yeah.
And the solicitor, I'll tell you about the solicitor, but the accountant's gone, it's worth at least 3 times that.
Oh, piss off.
You know, the guy's near 70, break his ass to run up and down hills, planting trees.
Must have done that Google search.
Done Google search. Obviously didn't use True Value, but no. He's done it 3 times that, so it's worth 270 grand. For what? A job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
businesses that size, they don't go for multiples like that, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, that's when you get, like you said, you get profit share, earn out sort of creative structures, you know, like that, like Barnaby's like been discussing, and obviously earn. It's a shame if the accountant spoiled that.
Yeah, spoiled it. Yeah, so the deal was off.
Oh, that's a shame.
Deal was off. The Barn has now created his own limited company. And he's made about 20 grand in his first month.
Fine, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. Job sorted.
Well, it's like that. That's obviously G'd him on to do his own thing anyway. So
he wants ownership. You know, he's getting married in June. He wants to have kids.
Yeah,
he wants ownership.
Because I remember, I think May time, wasn't it? He come.
Yes.
Was it May or June event? And he was talking about coming on for you in Vamos, and then eventually coming over.
Sorry,
But I think personal reasons, like you said, he's got to prioritise family and stuff.
You think about it, right?
And he's Wales based. So.
Well, the thing is, he's in the countryside of Wales. All there is sheep and trees.
Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses there. So being a business broker in a not derelict, but a very urban or commoditized place, it's tough.
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
Exactly. And his passion is forestry. He's a man of land, you know.
Yeah,
so
it'd be all right. It'd be
fine.
Good. But at least his eyes was open to it very early on.
Yeah,
from a business perspective.
Yeah, he wants to buy businesses in his space, like forestry businesses and whatnot. But he's a tough son of a bitch. You know, he's a tough boy, so he'll be all right. But it's interesting. I've had this a few times. Even Salvatore, who comes to the Acquisition Collective, a really good friend of mine now, and he's been trying to buy this butcher place up north. And it's really good business.
How far off completion is that now?
Couple of weeks.
That's cool.
That's good. A couple of weeks. I guesstimate we're waiting for one last set of management accounts, which takes ages. But because it's a cash-based business and the accounting's a bit slow, that's just a bit harder. But I had the lawyer or the solicitor on the other side threatening to sue me.
Why?
Right. So I in an email basically stated this is moving very slow. This is not how the standards should be.
Yeah, he's trying to get it pushed along.
I was just saying, like, this is standards we hold all our deals to. Therefore, let's go to these standards. And then the guy took it as a personal insult and started saying, I was in corporate 20 years with big Americans and British companies. I know I'm
but even still, like, I think you do the same sort of thing now, or you push for it. It's like once you get a sales side client to their heads of terms, you try and push for a weekly, if not a bi-weekly meeting, just to keep everyone on the same page and
we
go forward.
After heads of terms start, we wait about 2 weeks at dust settled, rooms to be open, initial due diligence to be asked, and then we do a weekly call. But also, which we've just agreed to do now, because we've had some of our clients already do this on their own back, is actually set up a group chat with buyers and sellers. Because there's little questions like, why did you employ that guy? What's he on, like his hourly rate? Or what the little questions? But it's a WhatsApp. Oh, he's on £20 an hour. Whatever it is, it's good. Simple stuff. So we're actually doing that for all our companies going forward. And we've got 6 at the moment post heads of terms that should be completed between now and in the March.
Yeah, nice.
Can't wait, to be fair, because there's some really good people out there that we've gone through a bit of a journey with and got them to the stage they need to be at. So it's, for me, with this industry, it's really cool meeting the sellers who've got cool businesses and their stories, but it's cool meeting the buyers and all that.
It's good all round. That's what you said. Like you said, the stories is phenomenal. Just to hear people, like the characters, where they come from, how they got it there.
Also, it's cool. You've got a bloke who's worked 25, 30, 40 years, or even 10 or 5 years, how long they've ran this business, and again, a multi-million-pound exit. Like, and don't, as someone's gone through it myself, it's quite anticlimactic. But someone who's assisting them it's kind of exciting. So,
Yeah, I think
because,
I agree with that as well. 'Cause
let's get this done.
I remember all the acquisitions, all very anticlimactical, like you said. You don't get that one. You don't all go out and go, right, let's all go and celebrate down the pub, or you don't all go and celebrate. Like, it's all about like, oh yeah, it's done now. And it's a bit like, oh,
my first business I ever sold, proper business, when I was about 25, 26, 25. I celebrated in the pub on my own.
yeah,
Just me and a couple of Guinnesses, thinking, what do I do now? Because I was so young and naive, I didn't know actually what I was going to do after. I was just looking forward to exiting.
yeah, that big lump.
It wasn't that big, but it was at 25. But, you know, it's not for a small flat in London.
Well, it's a bit, for anyone who doesn't know your journey, I think you started business ownership like very early on. You was you still teens, or you was like 21?
Yeah, no, definitely teens.
You was teens, wasn't it? Yeah.
Actually, startup.
Brilliant story.
Well, like, my first ever startup when I was 15 was actually my older brother. We started a company called Tag Rugby Havering.
Yeah.
We took Tag Rugby to primary school kids. That didn't last too long, last about a year. Then we had another start called Rapid Car Move, where we actually owned all the We Buy Any Car branches in the southeast, like all their deliveries, and he was killing it. Like, honestly, we was making like a few grand a week each. Like,
nice.
At the age of 18 and 20, respectively.
Yeah,
Like, absolutely smashing it. And then We Buy Any Car got sold to BCA auctions.
Yeah.
And that kind of whittled away. And then I set up from there Transport Factory, which I was a transport consultant because I was qualified TM and whatnot, to be an external transport manager consultant. And then from there, I brought Newcroft Training, my first proper leverage buyer. And don't worry, I didn't have small buyers, but I'm talking about like, it's a cleaning van or whatever crap.
Yeah.
Like little tiny things. But my first proper big
But that just shows from early on, you've always been entrepreneurial, buying businesses. You've not been scared to, like, you've never really been an employee, have you?
No, I did. I had one actual paid job when I was 16. I was assistant contracts manager at a company called Cumbers Construction. I get on with the directors to this day, but I lasted about 3 weeks. And sometimes we'd up over a cigarette while I was dropping off the post. And I was like, "Fuck this! Like, you're gonna tell me what to do." So I quit.
Yeah.
And then the second job, I actually worked in the City of London as a commodities broker.
That's it,
But that was commission only. So I'd actually go away to London Bridge, lose money going there, lose money having lunch, lose money having beers.
Yeah.
Come home and look like sometimes the week was like minus 80 quid. But I eventually got used to cold calling 350 times a day, talking about different commodities and investments around that. Because we've done like art, diamonds, all sorts of wild shit now. Because I believe it's the great fall theory, and I'll go into that a bit. But eventually I done quite well there, and I got offered to run a floor, like be the floor manager in a place called Amstelveen, which is South Amsterdam. Yeah. I did that for a couple of months, and then the guy didn't pay me my last month. So I said, fuck this, I'm not missing my family, because, I was out in Holland, I never did anything like what they do in Holland, like smoke weed or, go red light district. That were my cup of tea. Totally. So I went home, and then, Rapid Car Move at the time sort of kicked off, and then just carried on from there. But I've always been a hustler.
Yeah, it's clear as day. You can see that just from your journey. And I think, obviously, I'm filling in the blanks a lot because I know it anyway, but you were shown that, like, from your dad from young. So obviously, business owner, big businesses. So you've always had them conversations round the table. So, like, for one question that I have, one of them, what was it? Yeah, so entrepreneurs, do you think that you're born with it or they're built? Built. Yeah. I agree with that.
Don't get me wrong. Because I've had the bug from such an early age. So in a way, I don't remember a time where I didn't want to be like my dad, a businessman. So I remember always looking up to him, going, "Oh wow!" Even when he had like really big losses, even when we had to sell the house, move to a shithole area in Harrogate, I always admired it. Like,
but he then, off of the back of the loss and then the rebuild, like, you see him come out of it and be okay. So you see that a loss isn't devastating, because some business owners, they get one little loss
and that's it.
That's it. They're wiped out. They got
that's pretty
shuts them down as people, and it's unfortunate. Whereas you can go again,
I think how you deal with stress and emotional intelligence is a big indicator how successful you'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see my old man and see what he's gone through, and us as a family unit, even me in my entrepreneurial career. And some people would just snowflake and they'd melt. See, melt after things I've
A
seen.
lot of it's down to persistence, I think.
Definitely.
It's whether you can go to sleep, get up the next day, and just keep going at it. I think is the big key driver.
Well, you can't lose if you don't quit.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
And it's the same with even if you're an employee, because my journey was employee up until mid-20s, and then I started my journey that way.
Yeah.
So I've sort of adapted into business ownership, whereas, I didn't grow up around them conversations. Both my parents were employees, and they had that mindset of you work all your life, pay your house off, you retire at 65.
Don't get me wrong. My mum and dad were also employees at the same age as well. Like my dad was a truck driver. My mum was a Cadbury sales agent.
Yeah, but he would have done
and
that
had a cleaner
when he needed to be that.
Yeah.
For a short period of time, and then he would have started to rebuild.
He was also a train driver once.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. Going on the underground, I was a kid seeing the front of the tunnel.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I think both my parents were really hard workers. I think that's just instilled in the fact. I remember once recently, about a year ago, my mum, because she's proper Cockney, she's like East London Cockney, East Enders, type. And she went to me because I was being a bit lazy. She went, "You're not Cockney. You're not Cockney."
Yeah, because Cockneys are up and at it, up and go, don't stop.
Yeah.
The only time they stop is when they sleep.
And she knew that would hurt me. So
she's geeing you up a bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah, mate. But that's what good mums, that's what good women are for. It's like you said, that's what your Raft does. That's partly why I think we're both successful at our ages, is mainly because of the women we have behind us as well. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah,
I do get times where I have gone into my own head, overthink stuff, and then procrastinated. That used to be my biggest downfall. And if it weren't for my wife, who is very direct, simple, she will just get up and go, and she will just tell me if I'm doing something or doing it wrong. And she's done that for the last 6-7 years we've been together, and
That's a good thing.
I'm very thankful. And she's been a big push on. It's like it's like I've told you before, the Acquisition Collective.
Yeah,
I only started that because I kept moaning to her, and she said, "We'll start something yourself then."
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah, I will then." And then 2 days out, she goes, "Are you getting on starting that event then?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know." You got a venue yet? I said, "No." And then a week later, I had the venue and the idea, and it was pretty much good to go.
Even though I've met Sophia, your missus, a handful of times, for our conversations, every interaction I've had with her, I feel she's very much like a rock.
Yeah.
She's very much there. She's very much pushing you forward.
Yeah.
I feel like, and similar to my missus, she's like the hardest working person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
When I first met her, she's working 7 days a week, up at 5 a.m. going gym,
Yeah.
doing all this work. I was like, bloody hell. I really admired her about it.
It's like now, people look at Sophia now, because I've got 3 young kids, 6, 5 and 2. So fortunate enough, she doesn't have to work. She chooses to work, so she has her own business. And we're
boredom, so to speak.
Boredom, because she has to have a purpose of some kind. So what she wants to do, once kids are at more school and stuff, she wants to go and buy and build a spa chain, right? But until then, she's gone and, in the last year, she's gone and built a client base of beauty clients, gone and certified herself.
And she's oversubscribed now.
Yeah, she's oversubscribed,
Busy us too.
because she was supposed to only work 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And now she's like 4 evenings a week and a Saturday morning.
Similar to my side.
And she kicked, like, where we're sat now is her.
Yeah.
It's her studio Monday to Friday. And it was supposed to, I converted it to be my office. Right? So I quickly lost that, because all I need is a laptop to function, and I can do that.
Yeah, you work for anywhere. Like
in the house, yeah.
Similar to my missus, she actually qualifies as a hair extensionist and weave inputter. No idea
whatever the
right term is. But because we've only got Margot, she just turned 1. We're not at a stage quite yet where South can start building a client base. So going from there. But she did say the other day, she went, "I think I want to go back to work."
Yeah.
I was like, really? I was like, I'd love to do your life.
Sophia said the only reason she needs it is just for the sanity side.
That's
As much as she loves the children, she says there's only so much you can talk to children all day long. I said, yeah, I get it. Like, if you want to do it, do it. It's fine,
And I feel I was saying to you the other day, like we swapped, like us and the partners for a month. Like it all sounds great because we're hard at work. But I think if we do a month of going to the park, play dates, wiping nappies, all this stuff. Wiping bums, should I say? That's how much I don't do. I don't know which way it goes. I think in the end you go, cool, get me back to work. Get me doing something, I get that. But it's interesting. When I met Soph, like I was a right ebb, like proper down. I don't want to say down because actually I brought a chain of seafood vans and Sophie.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to read this story.
So I brought a chain of seafood vans. I brought one, I brought two others, and then Sophie was actually the manager at Compare. So I'm
all right,
right. So I'm out there staking out the compares. I see it's pretty bird behind the seafood.
Yeah.
So I end up exchanging contact details, and then my main seafood van was 5 minutes from her house, and got talking. I said, "Oh, how about you come see me? I'll work. I'll be here." Frank's the place, and that first date, should I call it? We sat inside the seafood van, drank a bottle of wine, stinking of fish because we both smelled of fish.
Yeah, he's just
nose
blind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank God. It's funny because I got out the fish game before her, so I used to jump in her car. It stunk of fish. But then I sold that thanks to our head chef. We call him G, but his real name is Garrett. I want to say Gerard, but it's Garrett. Nice guy, G. But he brought it, ran it for a year. I think he turned into more like a barbecue shack. Like seafood and barbecue. He went that.
That's a bit.
We was very traditional seafood,
really
like jelly deals. The only thing we did do different was we used to do salt beef bagels. So we'd get we'd get the bagels from the Bible Bake Brick Lane White Shop.
Nice.
Funny of which I was born above with him.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
We used to get 100 of those, 10p each from the shop. Cook the salt beef overnight.
Yeah, nice.
And served them up. To be fair, it was quite a winner, chicken dinner, but. It was a weird business, that one, because that was the first time outside family, my brother and my dad. And no, I don't do business with my brother and dad nowadays, but we're rapid car moved out 50-50 with my brother, just as an example. But that was the first time I went in business with someone else outside my family unit, a guy called Kai. And Kai lent some money off his father-in-law to help buy the seafood van.
Fair enough,
But then...
Because one thing I've never done is partnership.
Well,
I'll ask you some questions in a minute.
Right, I wouldn't recommend it. Can I tell you why? Right, so originally it's 50-50. We split like the costs and the profits 50-50 and the workload. But he didn't drive.
Oh,
He's never ran a business before. He's just a bit right.
Unless he can sit home and do the finance. I don't know.
He's never even seen a finance page.
It's just a capital investment.
So basically, I was getting up at 5, driving down to Osborne's in Leon Sea, which was like a wholesaler for the seafood, grabbing the seafood, like the order we put in 2 days before, opening up the seafood stalls, laying out the fish. He'd stroll in half stoned on his little ped. I think
it's not productive.
Not productive. And nice guy now. I don't mean shit him as a business person, terrible. But he might say about me, he might say you was terrible, but time has gone on and we live different completely lives. So I think Harrison put in. But then I brought him out. And then sold it to the chef 2 weeks later. So I paid his original $2,500 he invested in. But here you go, mate. Can't work for you. You're a knob. Here's your money. And I sold it to G for triple the original investment, roughly.
Fair enough. Yeah. Is that the only partnership that you had, or is there any more along the way?
I've had a few more.
Go on. So what are the good things and what are the horrors? What are they just all horrors?
I think partnerships work when there's clearly defined rules that people stick to.
Partnerships don't often have what you're referring to, is like shareholder agreements and set.
No.
differences in the business from day one.
Yeah.
I've never come across partners who see clear eye to eye.
Yeah. I think if you know each other's roles and you stick to them, you won't have an issue. So,
Yeah, because I say about you need to have opposite skill sets.
yes.
So you don't
Complementary.
Yeah, so you don't bash into each other along the way. I get that, but I've never known any partnership or any long-term set of partners looking to sell that I've spoken to that like each other.
So I've got.
Not to say that it's not. They're not.
So Vamos has a minority shareholder, Peter, and that was part of my offering to him to come on board with me because he did.
No, that's different.
That's the little.
Yeah, that's different completely.
I'm
talking about.
Well, I'm also partners in a business with Ray.
Yeah, but
that's a dormant company.
Yeah, that's a vehicle.
It was a vehicle to buy a big film and TV business. Didn't happen.
Yeah,
but we kept it alive more for friendship and us being us. You know.
Or no, that
who knows?
Possibilities
it
there.
Activated one day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who knows? So if you're a film and television logistics business, please do give us a shout. We are on the buy on that one, and also our partner Rob. Now I said not just me and Ray. And yeah, so Vamos is actually introducing finance brokering soon, where we put into a panel of lenders and raise money, especially for acquisitions. So that'll be one of our mainstays in the future. And I'm in discussions with a very nice lady who's been doing it for 7 years, and she would probably come in as a JV, like a 50-50 partner for that sub.
Yeah, it's a side sort of arm.
Yeah, so that'd be like Vamos Debt Advisory or Vamos Corporate Finance, whatever
That's good.
LTD would be, but
Yeah.
she would be 50% shareholder of that business because she'll be running the charge, be generating the leads, putting the infrastructure together, and cross-selling into the services as well as our.
It makes sense. Like I say this to all my advisory clients, even me and you. I think people get sick of it. Like the whole ecosystem. You know, like when you have a business, it's all well and good for that business to do its core service or provide the product, whichever it may do. But if you want to really diversify and maximise that asset, you got to think of the ecosystem around it and bring it in. If you want to do that, that is, you know.
I was thinking about like lifetime value of any customers, and don't get me wrong, my client,
correct. Yeah, you got to think of the client's journey and how you can add to that. You can keep them on your radar or in your sister companies.
What I wouldn't want to do is just say, I'm doing this just for the sake of it. I wouldn't offer tax advisory, even though that's a complimentary service to what we do, unless I actually had a proper good tax advisor on the team and that was part of
Yeah, but
I
don't think I've told you this yet. It's like my growth strategy is over 3 years. So like obviously I'm building out my sales team now. I'm building out by the back end of the year. I'll have a couple of account managers inside the business. And then next year I want to put in a commercial lending arm as well. But I'm debating whether to do it 2 ways, whether it's FCA regulated or the other route. But because the FCA regulated route, I can then, because I do advisory roles as well, it's more for the valuation side of it as well.
With the lending, why would you want to be FCA regulated?
Because it goes hand in hand with the advisory roles and the valuations of it as well.
Because this is,
but these are two,
This is something I've been looking into the last couple of months around, what it means to be a regulated finance broker, and why you should be regulated and why you shouldn't be regulated. And if you're offering mortgages, a mortgage advice, obviously you're a CMAP registered mortgage advisor with the FCA, or if you're offering loans under 25 grand or personal loans, so that's regulated. But anything over 25 that's commercial lending don't need to be regulated.
No, that I do know that obviously, but it's more for credentials as well, because people think if you're not FCA regulated, because of the size of the loans I want it to go to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's similar to Vamos, I suppose, because we're dealing competing with people who are FCA regulated.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, really. I think as long as you're above board, and proper insurance, proper processes, set client expectations, fulfill what you promised.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have any issues as such. But I do see why you'd want to be FCA regulated, because it is like a string to the bow type thing.
And then also you have better internal margins. That's why you control your margin. You don't have to tip out to commissions or bite your commission. That's essentially it.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I
obviously, when it starts, it will go. It will be down the AR route. Don't get me wrong, but then I will know probably within a further year after that if I then want to go down FCA route.
yeah, well, to be honest,
Because it's a journey. Because the FCA regulation takes. People say,
takes a while. Yeah.
oh, it's between 6 and 12 months. It takes years
Yeah,
because of the backlog.
yeah. Like one of my good finance broker, Matt Stacey, I can't actually pronounce his company, Antarias. I actually can't pronounce.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
He only recently got FCA regulated.
Say that again.
He only recently got FCA regulated.
Yeah.
Or approved, should I say. And he's been doing it for multiple years. He's worked in banks for 20 years, so he understands it. But that's why when we JV with this lady I'm talking to about the finance broker, she's going to worry about that side of things.
Yeah,
It goes beyond
and she's just out of it's an AR model.
Yeah, because at the moment, like, we do introduction agreements.
We all
like
have them in place, but
I've been doing asset finance like for my own pain or pleasure for like 15 years or 13 years now, and I think like on the face of it, it's quite an easy thing to process.
Yeah.
I've asked like so many old brokers, like, how do you do it? They go, it's very complicated. It's very, I'm like, mate, come on.
it's valued and it's loan to value. Sorry, I know it's a very broad thing to say, especially when I don't do it day to day, but I know of it. I mean, I only know of it because all my businesses have been construction.
Yeah.
So obviously,
you need invoice finance.
yeah, like they're the go-to ones that obviously we will use, and then obviously facilities and whatnot. But yeah, but they're very easy to lend against. That's why you can make an inquiry and within 3 weeks you got
send it to me.
your money.
Yeah.
It can't be that difficult if you can get your money that quick.
No, I think like selling a business or buying a business, same way with getting money, like funding for a business. It's all down to the business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like if you've got a great balance sheet, good liquidity and gearing ratios, and you've got a strong business standing on its own 2 feet, you'll get the funding, or you'll get that sale, or you'll be able to buy another business. It's more the ones that are shaky legs tend to struggle, and that's why we don't deal with business smaller than £1 million in value, because there's always something under the hood that we can't see.
Yeah, away. And it's very difficult to sell them. Unless you do buy side, and someone wants a specific type of business. Yeah. Then yes,
buy side.
Yeah, I mean, I started from buy side, and I've stopped it now as 26 because it's very time consuming. The stack used to be able to get away with. We used to be very cost effective, but now the stack you require is a lot of money.
Just for the viewers, because there'll be some people who ain't in M&A.
Yeah.
What is buy side? And I'll say what is sell side. Because
So buy side is when you get, tend to be the clients, private equity, alternative private equity, search funders, serial buy and builders, or just people who can't find businesses themselves or have capital to pay someone on a monthly retainer to go and search for them. So
basically, you deal source.
Yep.
You outreach, you vet them, you negotiate them.
So a client will come to me and go, "Hi Charlie, I want to buy a construction business ranging between 2 and 5 million. I want an electrical business, electrical wholesaler, or an electrical fit out company. I need you to go and find me one that isn't on market with the likes of another broker." Yeah. So I would go use my network of accountants, wealth managers, and then I would use my softwares and then do direct outreach to go and to see if I can bring anyone to the table for them. And then you bring them to the table, and then you host negotiations with the buyer and the seller. And if a deal completes and gets to heads of terms, I then go, there you go. Or they then go, we want you to oversee or project manage it from heads of terms to completion on behalf of the client. So
I'm listening, mate. I've got to text my missus on here. She's worried about
me. So that's what that is. And buy side, I mean, I started it as a buy side.
Yeah.
And
did you enjoy it?
For the first 18 months, yes.
Okay.
For the last 18 months, no. Because, I have a bit of shiny object syndrome, and it's very time consuming. You can only take on X amount of mandates, because the last 3 years, for the first 18 months of my business, I was trialing it. Because I trial every service before going to market with it. And for the last 18 months, it was bigger clients, more demanding mandates that they wanted, which was good.
Yeah.
It was good fun, good progression. But the costs just outweighed the reward in the end as a business.
Just to double clarify, just for the audience, you get some people who we know mutually who offer like deal sourcing services. And, whether they use fancy AIs like Lemlist, Meet Alfred, or Instantly, or Apollo to verify. Where they use, or even Endol, or True Value. Plug that one in.
Like I've always been Endol because I'm cheap and simple.
But what's the difference to these deal flow wizards of the net or a buy-side advisor?
Well, I don't believe in the AI automated searchers who offer that service because it's very personable and you got to spend a lot of time speaking to real people, real professionals.
Networking.
There's tons of them now that are saying you can pay me £500 a month and I'll give you leads.
Or £100 a lead.
Like pay per lead is absolute.
It's crap.
Yeah. And they might have 10 people on their books because they all want that fancy, I want 10K a month thing.
I think.
And then they all just throw out the same garbage to the same clients that they have.
Yeah. I think one day that particular service, like the deal sourcing, deal flow, wizardry, will be so commoditized where paying $250 or £500 a month for what someone's charging currently $3, $4, $5 grand a month will make sense.
But saying that, so the clients that I used to work on behalf of buy side was basically cash rich, time poor professionals, right? Or PE. But you got to think, PE don't ever go external. It's only the alternative guys who go external because PE have enough money to create their own team of either interns or they create their own team and just replicate it. So PE VC won't need you. It's just the stupid people will need you, or the, like I said, cash rich.
So
time poor.
Yeah, it's interesting because the cash rich, time poor people for a buy side are probably your favourite type of client.
Yeah.
They just want you to do a service. They don't care about the money to a degree.
Yeah.
They just want to crack on, especially you've positioned yourself as a professional, some experience, so they go, oh, Charlie, I know you're good at this. Here's your monthly fee, off you go.
That's why I ended up doing both at one point, sales side, because I was coming across people saying, do you want to sell? And I was like, no. And then they was coming back and saying, oh, can you sell on behalf of me?
Yeah.
Not to that client. So then that's how I thought it just organically evolved.
It's funny because Peter, who works with me, he says the same thing about buy side. Because I'm quite anti buy side.
Yeah, he likes buy side.
He likes buy side because he sees it as an opportunity, one, to network, but also to potential business owners who might want to sell one day.
Yeah,
similar to what you just said.
It's definitely a slow burn, and there's a place for it. Don't get me wrong.
You've got to tell me.
When I was a one-man band, and I've been a one-man band for 3 years because I've treated it as a part-time consultancy gig. Yeah. It's only coming into 26. I've decided to take it to new levels and build my team out. Yeah, and that's all I do.
With sales side, just to clarify, so obviously buyer side, you're acting on behalf of the buyers, and you're trying to source some deals, negotiate deals, get good value on them deals, and also you transact. With sales side, obviously it's the other way, where I represent the seller. We take them to market for our private network or public networks. Yep. We find buyers. We then vet the buyers, sign on the non-disclosure. We re-vet them. We get them onto discovery calls. We get offers on the table. We negotiate the offers. And hopefully we close. So sometimes a buy-side broker and a sell-side broker might actually sit on the table and negotiate with each other on behalf of their clients, which I've had the pain or pleasure at the moment.
Both sides of the pie will always drive the hardest bargain for their client because they want to do right by their client. Yeah. And so that's the same for legals and due diligence professionals. And that's where, like I said, the comment I made earlier about they're the ones who make the biggest delays in the deals. Yeah.
From my experience, but it can happen in brokers as well. We're an unregulated market, so anyone could be a broker or an M&A advisor. And I've spotted a couple recently. I'm like, no, don't get into this because they've never done it before. I don't know, really. It's a tough one, really.
Yeah, because I still look at on market brokers' mandates all the time just to see what's out there and whatnot. And I've got a couple sort of mentees who I advise as well. And
like Yusuf would say, you charge them £500 or a WhatsApp.
well, no, that's something different. But
you got to talk to the banks.
Yeah. But there's this chap that I advise, Lysander, he's called.
Oh, Lysander, he's a good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
He's
looking for his first business, and he's doing the whole on-market thing.
Can I just ask you something about your relationship with your mentees and Lysander? Do you charge him?
No.
Okay, cool. Because no mentor should charge their mentees. No. Is that right?
No, that's right. So Lysander, he's got a really good work ethic, and I understand what he wants to do. Yeah. He wants to buy an engineering business now. It's really fine. So obviously he's a full-time employee. So he's been searching. He's really good at searching because he comes from recruitment. So he understands CRM searching, dedicates himself to it 2 days a week and in his own time. So he's all in. He's got a big drive, and he's good. And he goes to me, I'm not getting anywhere with brokers, and my experience, everyone's sort of just looking over me. I said, because he's early mid-20s, I said, you're
fresh.
Yeah, he's fit. If a young dude's come to me and I was selling my business, and he said, "Well, no experience, can I buy your business?" I wouldn't
stack up.
Yeah, so I actually jumped on calls with him now, just to say I am his advisor, right? And I run through my background and say I'm here to advise him.
You give him that credibility.
Yeah. So I'm not going into business with him at all. He's asked me, and I've said no. I said, you got your dream. You want to do that. You do that dream. Yeah. If you want my advice, I'll give you my advice. Like he voice notes me, WhatsApps me, he calls me, jump on calls with him.
He's a nice guy. He introduced himself to me at your last event in London.
Yeah.
I was on the phone sitting next to Andy Hooper, funny enough, and on the other side, this young kid. And I could tell
he's up the back of Andy.
I could tell he kind of wants to talk to me. So I put the phone down. I put down, turned to him, and he goes, "Oh, you're Charlie." I'm like, "Hello, I'm Lysander."
Yeah.
I had trouble LinkedIn before. Like, no, mate.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
He seems like a really clued up lad. And I think, with someone like that who's switched on it, does what he says he's going to do, compound interest over time, when he's our ages, he should be flying.
Yeah.
In theory. But then you've got other people, someone that you've interacted with and professional level, and same here, where I met them 4 years ago and they've done fuck all.
Yeah.
Like they said, I'm going to buy a business. They had one the other day that I really like. I'm not going to say his name because I do really like him as a person, but he told me 4 years ago, I'm going to buy a business and all this, and great. And then he inquired about a business of mine for sale, and the team sent me his vetting documents so I can read through something to approve or reject. And I knew it straight away. I was like, I know this guy. As I sent an email saying, you put your email that your business partners with someone who's got a multi-million-pound business in this sector, please disclose who it is.
Yeah.
And he's signing an NDA. He hasn't emailed me back since. Yeah. So that's killed him.
But there's a couple people that have come across my desk in the last year, 18 months. And it's like they have chats with you and they want to pick your brain, right? Yeah. And it's like
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't mind helping people, giving them 30 minutes worth of advice. Like I'm not, because I like to think that because there's so much, like you said, because it's unregulated industry we operate in, and there's so many people selling fucking courses. Yeah. It's really, I feel sorry for them really. And there's people who just love to learn, love to watch the YouTube, and I know people who've gone on Jonathan J, they've done 5D, they got all these brilliant tools, or 5D anyway. Yeah. And then they still haven't bought anything. They've still got an excuse. And it's like, just look at stuff and just make an offer on something. Just do something, because
what's interesting?
The other one I hate, they go, what business are you looking for? What industry?
Yeah, what's your Bible?
I'm sector agnostic. I can't stand.
And I say this.
I say at least narrow it down to 3 industries. Yeah, at least that.
I say to all newcomers, I say pick an industry that you've got experience in, or at least your partner, like who you're going to team up with, has experience in. Because there's no point of being a bricklayer and trying to buy a solicitor's practice, or the other way around.
Yeah.
There's just no point unless landscaping is your passion after 20 years of writing law contracts.
Yeah.
But fair enough, each their own. But I brought and sold in haulage mostly. I had the seafood vans, I had recruitment companies and other little things, but they all went to shit.
Yeah, but your big buys and sells are in haulage because that's your back.
That's my bag.
Yeah, it's like that's why I come from construction, and then I went into business ownership in construction. And that's why my long-term investment holdco, whatever you want to call it, which has got 20 years left on it, the majority of it will be in construction because that's all I know. That's my bag. I will pivot off into stuff like.
The thing is, though, you know the lingo. Like, you know the lingo of the construction, like GDV means, or, how much it roughly costs to build a house, like in terms of development, or where to get the supplies from, or
going forward,
I get a clue.
I had a main contractor and I sold that because that business model doesn't work. Yeah. So my business acquisition targets moving forward are all subcontracting businesses. So
related services. So
they're just single service businesses in my head. So like fencing, landscaping, electrical, plumbing. Don't need to put them together. They just do this super simple business. Do 2 or 3 services. That's it. Run super lean, and their cash flow is good. So because what I remember when I sold my main contractor and I was looking to acquire another one, there was this big one that I was trying for, and it would turn out about 19 million. Right, I was well above my means, but I was trying to be.
Why not?
Yeah, on market, I think I agreed close to 2.5 million. Right, it was that good a deal, but that's because it's all turnover to little profit. And I'm thinking, but there's all these electrical businesses turnover like 8-9 million, but the profit's like 4 million. Gross, but still. I'm thinking it's like 40% gross margins. I said, what? But then their cash flow's better. They don't take on as much risk. You can actually get some sort of lending if you need it for subcontracting businesses, whereas main contracting businesses was like. And I was thinking, I've just gone through 4 years of taking a main contractor from 3 million to close to 10 million. Why am I going to go and do it again? What am I doing? And I was like, yes, scrap that nonsense. And that's why now I just look at simple, boring businesses.
I do think with entrepreneurship, you learn how to drive, and then once you know how to drive, you decide which vehicle you want to enter into and continue the journey. And I feel like, when you was growing out main contracting business, that was you learning how to drive and how to run a business. Similar to me, like I learned through haulage business and then mergers and acquisitions. But then towards the end, I fucking hated it with passion. And now what I do, I love with passion.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
But I'm in the right vehicle for me. I was always gifted at mathematics, people, businesses. I was nerd around
so
that.
now your skill set suits you.
Exactly. I hated driving trucks. I hate changing tyres, changing batteries. I hate dealing with drivers. I hate dealing with external transport managers. I hate dealing with traffic officers or postal or DVSA. I hate it all. The fact that I could be sitting in the office where any one of my 25 odd trucks could kill someone and I get done for corporate manslaughter.
Yeah, not them.
So, don't you always do your pre-checks, you do your 6 to 12 weekly PMIs, schedules, so you make sure it's good and proper.
Yeah.
But it's still quite nervy, like a 26-year-old going to prison for something he technically didn't do. Like one of his drivers maybe had a drink the night before, had an accident, and then suddenly you're in trouble. In my eyes, I don't see that being fair. No, it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see it being fair
but
as such.
Even now, you start seeing it in construction, like main contractors. You're starting to see like regional directors and MDs go to jail.
I follow, because obviously part of my job, I follow the health and safety executive.
Yeah, the HC.
And I see the reports, like someone going with a forklift, or a wall fell down on someone, scaff had to work on there, or
so
the electrical weren't wired properly. But, despite all the red tape and the harsh regulations, it's good because we could be in the Middle East where my friends have worked on the high voltage electrical jobs where they've seen Bangladeshi men get lit on fire because there's no proper PPE or standards or regulations. So it is good that we have them things. But like all health safety, we're quite reactive. We see there's a few issues first and we should stop that.
Well, that's like anything though, isn't it? Sort of off topic. It's like I can't remember who told me this, but it's like a speed camera. speed cameras where you see them located.
Yeah.
That speed camera's only there because of a fatality.
Yeah, the amount of accidents.
Which I didn't know about that.
When I was a kid,
I only knew that because the wife got so bored she joined the parish council.
of course she did.
You know, things like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's crazy, mate.
That's funny. Joining the parish council.
Yeah,
That's
she actually resigned like 2 weeks ago because her business is getting so busy.
Such a village.
Sorry, it sounds like I'm being really condescending.
No, that's fine.
I do say I love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's condescending but love.
Yeah, that's it. So, in the brokerage world in the United Kingdom, what trends are you seeing that are happening that are changing for the better, and what ones are not changing that you want people to look out for? So let me do one at a time. So people who are trying to buy a business and just doing on-market brokers, the likes of, I'm not saying names because I don't.
Intelligent, KBS, Vamos, Starling, Benchmark.
Yeah, so
whatever else.
So say they're say they're looking at them. What would you tell them to look out for?
Good question. So, with the established old school brokers, they tend to overvalue the businesses.
Always,
because that's how they work. They overvalue to get the listing on, get paid for the listing, and they keep the business owners on that hamster wheel. 12 months expired. Oh yeah, no inquiries, Jeff. Let's downvalue the business. Pay us again for another 12 months. Hamster wheel. But what that does bring with some is an opportunity, because if you're a business buyer and you've seen this listed on for 2.5 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, that's an opportunity to go and make a deal. Because as much as they are in for listings, if they've got a client who's been messed around for 4 or 5 years, they can't all get that client off their desk, so to speak. Because like, who really wants that bad of a reputation? They don't seem to constantly get new clients, but as a business buyer, you can spot the opportunity. So I used to, when I was buying HGV trainings,
year on.
I see the same listings. I'm like, that's been for ages. Let's go through.
But saying that, it's funny because about 2 years ago, I inquired about a steel manufacturing business, right, through Transworld. Yeah. When the broker actually on this, the chap who I dealt with, Paul K, really nice guy.
Maybe Paul, yeah. I've not met him.
Really nice guy. And he done his utmost best to, obviously, he presented my offer, met him, discovery calls, met him in person, really liked him. He was an owner and his son was the MD running it day to day. The owner was elsewhere. So, really liked the son. I could literally work with him. He had ideas to grow the business, but Daddy kept him down. No, I just want it to stay there. It's very.
I feel really telling me about this.
Yeah. And then, I made an offer. Their accountant said, no, it's not worth this. He started mentioning all this other crap that they thought it was worth. Okay, I said, well,
You'll know my biggest comeback to accountants.
What?
If they say, oh, no, it's worth this, you buy them.
Yeah. And it's funny as because I had like 2 years, I just offered a standard transaction offer, which was like, I think I offered 75% and then 2 years of deferred.
Well, that's pretty good.
It's just standard. Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It's generous.
And then, and I messed up my own valuation on that as well. I actually over offered by about 200 grand. So I just rounded up to
a really good deal for the seller.
It was a really good deal. And he said no. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to negotiate because I've already overvalued it. But I didn't say that out loud. Still on the market today. Lysander. Like the business too. Talking to him a couple of months ago. Still on the market not because the broker's bad, but because the owner's just very hard negotiator. Because of his accountant who he's had in his business for 20 years.
It's in his ear.
It's in his ear.
Yeah. I've got 3 acid tests. And one of them is, can I get head to terms within 90 days?
Yeah.
Can we get agreed sale? But that comes from the realistic valuation and if the owner agrees with that. Because if we can't agree on the valuation that's realistic, that the buyers will buy at least overbid and, get that business, you're going to be stuck on the market forever. And it's funny, I was watching Grant Cardone, he's got a new show on YouTube about property and all that. I was watching in the background. And he said something quite poignant that I thought. He said, he's trying to buy this £80 million, 1900 unit block of like basically a small village. And he's like, the estate agent lady was like, the client wants 88 million. And he's like, I'd give him 55 within 30 days cash. And she's like, no, he wouldn't accept anything below 88.
Ask him though.
And he's like, yeah, ask him. But she's like, no, I know him. Like, he won't. And he's like, well, he's not really a seller, is he? He's not actually in the mood to sell. He don't need to sell. You don't want to sell really unless he gets a ridiculous offer that no one's ever going to pay for it. Yeah. It's similar to business. Like, I've got clients, multi-million-pound companies sold for multi-million pounds, but if they was off their head on the valuation or expectation, I'd just say, look, I can't work with you. Yeah, I know it's not going to sell, unfortunately.
But it's like when I have people come to me for valuation, they say, "What's it valued at?" It's like I tell them what it's worth openly and honestly, and then I prove how I got that calculation from my methods, right? And then I will say that's obviously. Then they go, "How much will I get? What's the structure like?" You gotta explain that, and it's like I will explain the standard transaction offer, which is a generic sort of figure, as you know, in 2 years to third, split down. And then I'll say, but you need to think about other alternative methods, the whole set of financing thing, or the creative structures, the earn-outs,
I do think
things like that. But I said, with that, you can get a better multiple, but you'll just stretch out over time. So it differs to what you need. It's like my main contractor, because that business model sucks up cash all the time. Don't get me wrong, I built up a 2-year buffer, right? But still, without that, I mean, I exited that business over a 10-year period. So I thought...
It's like you're young enough to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I said to myself, for 10 years, I want to be there for my kids. So I've got a free salary for 10 years. Yeah. That's how I see it. And I've still got another 2 decades after that to go and earn my retirement money.
Yeah.
Right?
I had similar exit at Newcroft the first time around. It was a very long deferred.
Yeah. But people, when they're in their 60s, they
don't think like that. Yeah.
They don't think like that. But then,
which is understandable.
But then I always say, talk to your tax man, because you might push for this 75% down day one, but really, tax man's going to eat it.
Yeah, and also I don't give any tax advice.
No, but
if there's any deferred,
they still want their lump.
Yeah, if there's any deferred element in the transaction, you can look at non-qualifying loan notes, which essentially is a tax-free way of doing it until they're drawn down. Obviously, it's a counter tax advisor on that. So I was checking my watch. Now I've got time. I think 6.
6 now.
Yeah. So how long have we been doing this?
Don't know. You got about 5 minutes. You got to get to Birmingham first.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't like driving. I feel like I just got
to pick that water up, boy.
I hope he's a bit. I said if it's not a fucking fat off the wall, I don't want it. And I've got a feeling it's going because last year on this awards evening, I'll send the photos. There's the big fat off one, that my mate Graham Eden one. Like the big old Mac Daddy.
Is he coming back for that?
No, I asked him.
Is he still in Dubai?
No, he's open now, but he's moving house at the moment. But then you got these little plaque ones for the other awards. So I was like, mate, I am not looking all dapper to get a little plaque. But no, my life, I'll probably get a plaque. So be it. It'll fit in the office a bit better. Well, shall I ask me, Charlie?
Nothing. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you. Yeah, you need to get on the road, mate. So
you want some of my predictions for the future?
Go on, then.
My crystal ball. The UK M&A market will become more Americanised when it comes to creative financing, seller equity finance.
It's a good thing.
Which is a good thing for deal making, especially for the velocity of deals. Like one of my friends, Mike, he runs a brokerage in New York with 230 brokers, and he's sending businesses.
Jesus,
He sends businesses like every day. But what's interesting, once he gets a listing, like transport company style, he'll actually put the deal structure on the listing. So 20%.
That's what they want.
10% SBA 7A loan, and then the rest deferred with interest payment.
Yeah, see, that's what.
So it's an interesting prospect, like us becoming more Americanised on the M&A landscape.
The thing is with the M&A thing in America is they're just like they're geared up for it from every layer. So if you go to their accountants,
most of them understand what they're doing.
Obviously, we've had these conversations a lot of times. It's like I think it's like 80% of businesses in this country are micro businesses. So that means I would put that ratio onto the type of accountant in this business in this country is 80%. I call them copy and paste accountants because
they're bean counters. That's what
Yeah,
they count
so-
beans.
and they're always thinking they're just data entry. They're just
Yeah.
copy and pasting reporting from the last month, if they even do that often,
Yeah.
which they don't normally. So in America, they actually your standard accountant is trained on M&A and loans and stuff like that. So everyone's just geared up for it,
100%.
you know.
And like,
Whereas here they're not. It's still quite
the other-
It's still quite a cagey subject because everyone's got the pride and no one wants to tell everyone what
I
they
think
earn.
that's British culture, though.
That's what I mean.
So,
Yeah. People are scared to talk about how much money they earn.
So that's changing, and education around the space is changing through buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
But what is also changing, which you didn't really touch on, is AI. As you know, it's changing every day. There's a new thing every day with AI. But in terms of the AI landscape, you're not going to need the deal flow sorcerers. You might not even need the brokers one day to transact, you know, because the way it's developing, so you always need a specialist and someone, an expert to guide you through the stages. But it might come to the point where a whole negotiation between the buyer and seller will be done on ChatGPT.
Oh, well, let's hope not. So we'll find another gig.
Yeah, well, I'd probably become a farmer.
Yeah,
Become a chicken or goose farmer.
Yeah,
sheep farmer.
Well, I've been told because my own buy and build is on the hold, really, because of the kids. Hence why I've sort of pivoted into this for the next 5 years. So I'll just get to the point where in like 5 years, I'll look to sell Sterling Butter or shut it down and just go buy and building.
What is interesting, because I was going to say this earlier, every business has a price.
Yeah.
And if I had a blank checkbook and said, give me a price for Sterling Butter, I'll sort it up into Vamos or vice versa.
Yeah.
Me, you would write down a number right now that we'd walk away with. And I'm a big believer because you got the Clinton Lees out there who go, oh, your tiny business ain't sellable, or you got to do X, Y, and Z, and you'll never be able to sell, or you'll never be able to buy it. I'm a big believer that every business can be sold just for the right price.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, even Sophia's beauty business, she's now got a client book that's valuable to someone. You know, whether that's a local salon somewhere else.
Yeah, because
that's of value.
Because that's why a lot of people acquire is for customer list, like order books. It's like accountancy practices. Their whole acquisition model is they just want the clients.
Yeah.
They don't care about the premises, the people. They don't want any of that because they have that.
Same way with me. Like, as you know, I went to go buy a business brokerage before Christmas.
Yeah.
And they wanted too much money for a loss-making shitty little brokerage. But for me, it was the brand, the history, the people who I found really valuable. Funny enough, since we parted ways, because I've said, no, I'm not going to give you a £250,000 for the piece of shit.
I noticed they're doing a lot more on socials because I know who they are and I'm not going to say.
Now they're doing more on socials. Now they're targeting London South East because they think hiring a broker in my region, because none of our clients are from London South East. We're like European nationwide. Like, I got one client from London or Essex. You know, they think somehow that's the secret to the sauce. And then they're advertising, which I use my advertisers for, now say £1 to £50 million in value, but all their listings are fucking cafes. So
they're very and like you said, you told me about their business model and their splits and commissions. I can't see how they function. Each to their own.
They trade in salt. It's only because they're rich backer, sugar daddy, that they keep going.
Yeah,
but they wanted me to replace the sugar daddy, become sugar daddy Charlie.
Yeah,
and that ain't gonna happen.
But I think it's the type of business now. You don't need to acquire another brokerage to get there. I think you can get there yourself.
Yeah, we're on a roll. Definitely on a roll.
Yeah.
But it can help speed up things. And I said something to them once early in the negotiation before I even saw their books or their model. I said, "Oh, well, this will help me jump 2 years. In terms of my plan." Actually, would have set me back to
because you'd have needed to cut and carve that out. Probably like 75%. You'd have had to have got rid of.
All I'd really want is
the people,
the brokers.
You want the brokers
and the number of the website. I don't even want your listings because they're shit. Like it's only been here for months. I don't even want half the people because they weren't up to my standards. You know, all your contracts, your processes, and no disrespect to them. They do their thing. I do my thing, but. What I don't appreciate is them hearing what I had to say and then trying to copy me like for like.
Well, they have done that, but you can't stop people copying good models.
But I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind helping other brokers out because I want to change the industry. Like,
Yeah, you said that for years now.
yeah,
So-
like, you know, me and you speak a lot about it. Me and Andy Rower speak about Sam Dalton Advice Advisory. Like, you know, we have regular conversations about it, and I'm quite public on socials, and I want to bring that standard up.
Yeah,
because the old guys,
it's a good thing. I think the more we do that, even just with video content and things like this, it'll happen more and more. And I'm sure it will do. And talking to Sam Doughty, I'm actually get to meet him for the first time next week at the event.
great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. I'm gonna message him probably after this, and I'm gonna say to him, let's get a cigar and a chin wag.
Oh yeah, because you're the same members club, aren't you?
Yeah, but he goes to the West Side. I go to East London because he's a posh boy.
Yeah, Canary. Was he Canary Wharf?
He's like South East London, but the posh bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's posh like Bermondsey.
Oh right.
Yeah, you know,
Bermondsey.
yeah, like Keston Park.
I don't think that's posh at all, but
Yeah,
I can't say anything, mate. I come from Mitcham originally, so
yeah, I know. Not
Yeah.
posh at all. But,
No.
yeah, and that's it really, Charles. I don't think there's nothing else to chat about.
No. Look, we can go on for hours. I know we can because
Yeah.
we do weekly, but yeah, thanks for coming, mate. Brilliant.
Charles, thank you very much.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.